against Jackson of Iowa State, and Heffernan lost to Jackson the last time. Jackson started fast and looked very good. He's in on the leg again immediately. Larry Jackson, double leg, 2 points.
He hits those nice doubles. He gets a good extension on in, takes his body on in, gets the 2-point takedown. Here's Heffernan back to his feet now, trying to fight the hands off, get free.
Iowa crowd getting a little restless because Iowa State has certainly started well. They're trailing by 1 point, but I don't know if they thought Cyclones were going to be this close after 142 pounds.
I don't think they thought that anybody would be close after the meet last week.
Oh, I'll tell you.
Now this
Jackson.
This is where Jackson did such a good job on Heffernan last time. He chopped the arms, took him away, and then controlled the arms, and didn't let Heffernan get to his feet and wrestle where he feels comfortable. So he wants to keep him down on the mat. Heffernan wisely tries to get to his feet and fight hands off.
Well, you know, they're out of bounds. You know that Stuart Carter has been at 150 for Iowa State. He's even ranked, as a matter of fact, 6th, but my understanding is that Jackson beat him in practice, and of course he beat Heffernan the last time out. So there are a couple of reasons for Larry Jackson being here.
I'd say those are good reasons.
Yes.
When you beat him out, you've beaten the #2 ranked man in the country. He's real good on top. You can see how he just controls the arms and doesn't let those hips get up. Heffernan wants to get to his feet. Here's where he wants to be. Up, hips out, trying to score that escape. Jackson's just trying to stay in behind him and control. This is how you get called for stalling if you don't work aggressively.
He already has a minute of riding time. Jackson of Iowa State on top, and the referee does a lot of counting. You can hear him sometimes.
What he's counting, he has to make a visual and verbal signal to the wrestlers and the coaches that he's counting that somebody is not trying to improve. And that's when he makes his calls, either stalling, stalemate, one man or the other.
Jackson made a shot at the double, he couldn't get it. Now Heffernan is in, but Jackson with a bear hug takes him right back to the mat.
Well, he can lock his hands when his opponent's hips come up and he doesn't have his supporting weight on his knees. So that's when Jackson locked and pulled the hips in, just carried him right on up and dumped him back down. Good maneuver on Jackson's part. He's good here. He's good on top, and Heffernan has had trouble. Now he's out.
2-1.
Good little duck out the back door.
It's 2-1. Jackson against Heffernan, the Cyclones and the Hawks.
Well, we know what Jackson likes to do. He wants to be able to get Heffernan reaching, and then he hits that double and carries right on through him. There's the double. He didn't penetrate it deep. Heffernan didn't quite control it, so Jackson's back in for another double.
I'll tell you, he sort of has Jimmy's number from the looks of it.
He wrestles him like he owns him, doesn't he? So far, anyway.
So far. At the time they met in Ames, Heffernan was ranked #1. Heffernan is now #2.
Well, Jackson's been in total control so far. Has the arms tied up, has the hips broken down. He hasn't taken any kind of chances to turn him, but he does have control of him.
4-1 is the score. Stalling on the bottom against Heffernan with just a few seconds left. End of the period, end of the first period. I'll tell you, see it again.
Now he's got the hips in. Now watch him just take a step, big step. Drops the hips and just lets him slide on down. The step blocked Heffernan's ability to move away from it. Him dropping the hips let that thing work.
Outside trip. Well, Heffernan was redshirted last year after a Big Ten championship year in 1983 when he was a freshman. He finished 4th in the NCAAs. There's Jackson. He's from Marshalltown. The best he ever did in high school was a 5th at the state championships.
And he came on in that junior college championship, didn't he? And he's been wrestling very well when we've seen him.
Iowa leads the meet 8-7, but it's very close, and Jackson is ahead of Heffernan 4-1. Dan Gable wanted his old coach to feel good in his final dual meet, but I don't think he wanted him to feel this good.
No, I don't think so. Jackson's done such a good job of controlling Heffernan's hips. When Heffernan gets up, Jackson pulls the hips in. And he doesn't get his hips free, so he drops down on the leg and then picks it up, gets back up. He's allowed to do this to stay with his opponent. He just can't stay there, but as long as his opponent's coming up and going out, he can continue to do that. hear Gable say all he's doing is writing. What Heffernan is going to have to do now is have hand control, get to his feet, have hands controlled, and then get his hips out. He didn't quite get the hands under control, so when he got his hips out, then the hands put him back down.
Roll by Heffernan. He's out. He got 2 on the back.
So what he did was he gave him 2 for a reversal, 2 for a near fall, and 1 to Jackson for an escape.
And it's 5-5, just like that.
Now here's the position. Both men want to control this, get the other man moving, not just hang on it, but move it.
The Iowa crowd has come alive now. Jackson couldn't make his 4-1 lead stand up in the last 44 seconds of the second period.
When a man is just standing still, it's very similar to shooting ducks, you know, in one of those little shooting galleries. As long as you're moving, you're one of the ducks that's moving a little harder to hit. So you don't want to stand still. You want to move those feet, keep the other man moving. He didn't penetrate that double. Now Heffernan countered him out of it.
You can feel the momentum change here.
Yes,
You talk about that.
You can feel the offense start to change, that's for sure. Jackson has not penetrated the doubles, and Heffernan is starting to control the tie-up position.
Iowa State wrestlers up on the edge of the mat wanting Jackson to be aggressive here. Heffernan has come from behind. He was 4-1 down. He's now 5-5. In on the double.
There's a double now. He doesn't have the hips in control. Jackson drops him and fights him out.
But he's on the offense.
That's right. He certainly is. So this dropped. He didn't penetrate it, just dropped. And that's the point I was making, is that early Jackson was penetrating those instead of dropping. He's going in. Now see, he's coming in deep on this. Trying to control that thing. Now watch Heffernan just use it to throw the arm. Lifts, elevates, turns him right over.
And that was a 4-point move.
Big 4-point move.
Now we're ready to go. The third period has been Jackson's
demise in a way, hasn't it?
Bugaboo a few times this year. He's out now immediately.
Well, he's got control of the situation because he has riding time and the lead. So he's got to get on his offense again and not wait for Heffernan to get started.
Heffernan trailing by 1, and he's also trailing actually by 2 because there's riding time for Jackson. And there's no way that Heffernan can make it up.
You can see that neither man has really hit the penetrating offense. If they're going to go to the low level, they got to be able to work their man's head, get him out of position, either sideways or coming up in order to be able to hit that. Now he's in on a single. Heffernan has got it deep now, so he gets on up, and the leg is just keeping him safe.
Jackson,
real nice counteraction there, wasn't it?
Jackson has the only 2 takedowns in this match. Heffernan has not taken Jackson down. And his points came in a reversal and near fall besides the escape. Jackson by 1. And we're getting late. It's in the last minute now.
There's a side single by Heffernan, but he just doesn't get his body on around. Now he slides.
This time he came around. Single leg low now by Heffernan.
He's got to get his hips in close and get up with it or he won't have position.
Jackson has the underhook and he's out. That took about 20 seconds. And time is a factor. Heffernan needs a takedown, actually, for a draw. That's the Iowa State bench. You see Nate Carr on the left. There's Les Anderson on the right. Harold Nichols in the spot back on the bench. He has to peek through the assistants to see the match. Iowa 8, Iowa State 7. There have been 2 draws, and each team has won a match. Davis won his on a major decision, and that's the difference. Half a minute to go. Third period.
Well, he got in that position where he just dropped down when Heffernan tried to snap it. Trying to control it, just drop and grab. He's got to get on through that.
Jackson is in on the leg. That's where Heffernan does not want to be.
It takes up too much time. He wants to be able to control this position. Continue to work on that. Out of bounds.
We have 4 seconds to go.
I think Jackson's going to win another one.
It looks that way, doesn't it? And I'll tell you, we're going to go to intermission with the Cyclones leading. There it is. It's over. And Jackson has, with riding time, made it a 7-5 victory. When these teams went to intermission last time, Iowa led 12-6. This time, the Cyclones lead by a score of 10-8. The Cyclones of Iowa State have jumped back up on top, and there you see Bill Kelly and Joe Gibbons out to congratulate Larry Jackson, the victorious wrestler. At intermission, the score is 10-8. As we